So did you know that way back in the year 1905, there was a survey done in which people were asked, what must you have to be happy? And people listed off 72 answers of what they needed to be happy. And apparently the same survey was taken in the 1960s. And at that time, people listed 496 different things they needed in order to be happy. I wonder if we took the same survey today, how long would that list be? What do you need in your life to be happy? Just think about that for a moment. If I was your fairy godmother, I could grant you 3 wishes. What would that be? What would make you happy? Our world is in a mad pursuit of happiness. Just go to the bookstore and look at all the books on the pursuit of happiness or how to be happy. But we know that the most of the things that people ask for to make them happy are temporary things that can easily come and go, like money, a dream job, houses, even relationships. Now, it's not that these things are bad things, they're not. But when we become consumed by chasing these things, that's bad. Because we end up on a quest for happiness, which becomes a series of if onlys. You know what I'm talking about. If only I could find the right job. If only I could find the right husband. If only I could win the lottery. If only, if only, if only. And then what happens is we don't really enjoy life. We end up enduring it. Because if that's what we are chasing, we're never going to get everything we want. The truth is that if our happiness is dependent on the things of our circumstances, it'll come and go. But joy, I mean real God-given joy, that can stay with you no matter what your circumstances, no matter what is going on around you or even to you. You can still have joy in your life. Because while happiness tends to be based on external things, joy is internal. God-given joy is internal and abiding and rooted deeply. A good example of this is Paul. You can see his joy in a lot of the letters he wrote in the New Testament, especially Philippians. But if you looked at his circumstances, it makes no sense that he would be filled with such joy that he was. You would think that Paul's letters should be sorrowful and angry, but not because he was a prisoner, but also because many of the believers in Rome had deserted him as well. And this was when he was a prisoner in Philippi. Though Paul may have had every right to complain or feel sorry for himself, his life was somehow full of joy. In fact, he uses the word of joy and thanksgiving 19 times in just 4 chapters in Philippians. It shouldn't be any surprise that through the ages, this letter or epistle has become known as the Epistle of Joy. If you get a chance, I'd really like to encourage you, especially if you're feeling discouraged these days, to sit down and just read the book of Philippians. It's not very big. It's only a few chapters. You can find it in the New Testament. But I want to invite you to just read it. Because Paul was joyful. He had huge problems. But that didn't rob him from his God-given joy. And God-given joy is a choice, people. What Paul demonstrates is that joy, real joy. It's not dependent on our circumstances or on what we have or don't have. The truth is, to find real joy, it all comes down to faith. Faith, God confidence. It has an amazing way of expanding joy. Even though Paul's chained to a Roman soldier and facing possible execution for his faith, Paul is completely confident because he knows that God is ultimately in control. The level of our confidence in God has a dramatic impact. Joyfully, we go through the trials of life. If we have faith, even the faith of a mustard seed, then we can trust that God has got this. We can let it go and give it to him. We don't have to hang on to what is standing in the way of the gift of joy that God wants to give us. Now, I don't know what you're struggling with today, and I don't want to make light of it. But if it's weighing you down, I want you to know that God is calling you to lay your burdens down, hand them over to him. because he has something much, much better to give you. God bless.